they really shouldn't be something that governors should be worrying about. Is that how you see it?
Not at all. But perhaps permit me to address the issue, because some people will be saying, Uche, you're from Imo State. What's your
business with Rivers?
Fine. I am a Port Harcourt-based legal practitioner. My chamber is in Emekuku Street dealer in Port Harcourt. Beyond that, in 2007, I was hired by the federal government to negotiate the surrender of arms by the Niger Delta militants. I was in the creeks in Port Harcourt, Bayelsa and River State, in a River State and Bayelsa Delta, negotiating for their release. I escorted Ateketom and a lot of other militants to President Yar'Adua. If they know what how we were tasked to bring Niger Delta to the peaceful state where it is today, they won't be doing the kind of thing they are doing now. But therefore, because I played that role, I believe I'm a major stakeholder, and I know what it will mean for us to go back to that situation. Now, let us go back to what the issues are. One, you went to court to challenge that the election shouldn't hold. The election held. That is not sufficient for you to now run back to the court to ask the court to stop, not to release funds meant for the administration of local governments. I want to say with all emphasis, there is no relationship between the two. It's just that today, nothing has tasked the reputation, the image, and the integrity of the judiciary in Nigeria as much as this River State matter. And I will say with all emphasis, it has come to a sorry state that one can now rightfully say that the Federal High Court Abuja Division has now been turned to Federal High Court Wike Division. And it is unacceptable. Why must we all allow the reputation of the judiciary to be trampled upon by virtue of the interests of all these people in pushing for their greed for political power and material acquisition? That is what all this is all about. They want to control the resources of River State. They want to begin to continue to use it against the interests of the people of River State. I want to also use this opportunity to sound a note of warning that we are gradually pushing River State into a situation where we may go back to those days of militancy where youths were bombing oil pipelines. If we go back to that state, Nigeria will be suffering the more. And Mr. President knows that he has too much trouble in his hands. Considering the amount of troubles he has in his hands, should we be cutting more trouble in River State by this recklessness being exhibited on in the case of River State by the judiciary? That fund, those funds meant for the local government administration must not be tampered with. They must be allowed to be released for the use of people of River State. We have had enough of this crisis, and it is time to call all the people to order.
Do you think that Mr. President's silence on this matter speaks volumes? Because a lot of people said from the beginning, when the first, peace parley happened, at the villa, post what we're experiencing now, there should have been a firm, conversation from Mr. President to see his side on this matter.
Mr. President, with due respect, is not silent on this matter. Mr. President, with due respect, is on the side of Wike. If Mr. President were not on the side of Wike, he would have since fired him, because Wike is now his employee, and all the powers that Wike is exercising as at today is power donated by Mr. President to Wike. So if Wike is using that power to cause problem in another state, you call him to order. If you refuse to call him to order, it is Mr. President that is generating all the crisis. And I want to say that if Wike were not a minister of the federal government of Nigeria under Tinubu, he can't even fight in River State. Imagine Wike without the portfolio of FCT minister. Will he go to River State to fight? Where will he start? He is abusing his office. And Mr. President knows that he is abusing the office. But the interesting thing about all of this is that Mr. President grew his political career fighting and resisting Obasanjo over the issue of local government funds from Lagos State. The same way he grew out of that, he might also help some other people to grow out of this. Resistance is coming. And I think that Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. It could spark off from any state, from any region. This is not time to allow for a continuation of this kind of recklessness that is being exhibited in Rivers State. A lot of people have come on TV to say, Wike made Fubara governor. He didn't make him governor. God made Fubara governor. God used Wike to make Fubara governor. Pure and simple. Just like some other people were used to make Wike governor. Patience Jonathan single-handedly made Wike the governor of Rivers State. Is Patience Jonathan happy with Wike today? The answer is a capital no. Has she brought down the heavens in Rivers State? No. And this is not the first time some people have made people governor. And at the end of the day, they allow their states to function. Odele made Amechi the governor of Rivers State, and Amechi slipped off his hands. Did Odele destroy Rivers State? Wike grew up from support of Amechi and became chief of staff, became minister, and came back to become governor. Has the heavens fallen? Now, let us even look at it from this other angle. If we are assuming that if you make somebody a governor and you become very powerful, like Wike, therefore you should use your muscle. The SGF is more powerful than Wike. Wike is a minister. SGF is secretary to government of the federation. The SGF senator made Suswan the governor of Benue State. Both of them fell out. Did he destroy Benue? He made Otrop the governor of Benue State. They fell out. Did he destroy Benue State? Presently, he made Reverend Father Alia the governor of Benue State. Both of them have still fallen apart. It is taking the tortive to reconcile them. Has he destroyed Benue because he's SGF? Nasiru El-Rufai made Obasani the governor of Kaduna State. Today, Obasani's legislature is probing Nasiru. Has El-Rufai destroyed Kaduna State?
Let me just comment here. Should people be making people governors? I mean, it brings in the question of where the pro-people conversation on political leadership elections coming, because at the end of this conversation, the burden bearers of this issue are Rivers people. And from what Dr. Lloyd said here, on his own side of the story, he feels that this crisis is stopping investors from coming to Rivers State to invest. And on the other hand, I mean, the leader was here, he said they put their bets on a bad product, and it's now time for...
It has always gone. Look at Gige. Was it not imposed on the people of Anambra by the Obas? Did he not slip out of his hands? Chimaruke made Sullivan the governor of Enugu State. He slipped out of his hands. So, when you make somebody a governor, like they claim, but I don't agree, I say God working in his own way. These fights that ensue after they have imposed people as a governor is always the opportunity to liberate their states from the clutches of dictatorship. Wike Nyesom is my very good friend. I haven't even met Fubara for the first time. I haven't spoken with him. I don't know what he looks like beside what I see on TV. But I know Wike closely. The truth is that Wike wanted to go for third term as a governor in Rivers State. He is suffering from deprivation syndrome. He has to move on. And if there is any one person, God has been benevolent amongst all of us in the political circle, it is Nyesom Wike. He moved in as a local government chairman, first tenure, second tenure, moved on from there to become chief of staff to the governor, then moved on to become a minister of state, and became governor for 8 years, and now he's minister. What else does he want? Must he be president or vice? Must he destroy the place? And there is this bogus claim he keeps making all the time, that he has no regret supporting Tinubu for 2024 election. Did Tinubu win in his constituency? Today, where are we? There are 23 local government areas in Rivers State. They went to war. They could only attack 3. That means they only have capacity within 3 local governments. They couldn't even enter any of the other 20. So if you set out to destroy local governments, to disrupt them, and you could only do 3 out of 24, that shows that 3 out of 23, that shows you don't have much capacity. He couldn't even do it in his own local government area, which is Obiabo. The boys resisted him. The same way he grew up, many other people are growing up. This politics we are in. Power is a barber's chair. It turns this way and it turns the other way. All the people he was brutalized were his superiors politically. Austin Okpara was a member of House of Reps and Deputy Speaker when Wike was the local government chairman. Secondus was the state chairman of PDP when Wike was the local government chairman. Lee Meba was a senator when Wike was the local government chairman. Abie Sekebo was a senator and was even chief of staff at SSG Todele when Wike was the local government chairman. But things changed and Wike became governor and all these people came under him. Today, things are changing. Fubara is governor. By any means they have arrived at it, he must be allowed to enjoy the space. Like Mr. President will always say, it is time to allow River State to breathe.
Okay, Honorable, let's, since you mentioned Honorable Fubara, there's a school of thought that believes that
he has chosen to follow this way to see whether they could dialogue this whole situation. But now he's gradually picking up the courage to fight. Let us face it. We know the politics of River State in our palms. The Ikwere section of River State has produced 3 governors. Amechi, Wike, and the other person who was removed,
Celestine
Omehia. And Wike, Amechi, and Omehia are from the same community, Ubima. So a situation where you have an upland and riverine dichotomy in River State, and Wike, Amechi, Odele, and Omehia are all from upland. And this is the only opportunity the Riverine are having to produce a governor. Must you dictate for the governor how he should run the state? The Riverine is a complex part of River State. Wike has no influence there. He can't do anything. He doesn't understand their politics. And they're all proud people who have seen civilization a long time ago. All this attitude of wanting to bully them and intimidate them to put them under his control is not going to work. They will resist it. And if the federal government supports Wike to the extent of injuring that state further, you cannot guarantee that militants will not emerge blowing up the oil pipelines. And it is high time Mr. President wakes up and calls his minister to order and tell him to mind his business. And if he's not ready to mind his business and is much more inclined to going to wage a war in River State, he should be relieved of his position as minister so that we see how far he will go in the battle. Everybody is now saying, now we know the reason why Mr. President has given Wike all the leeway he has in FCT in terms of fund and management and release and utilization. It is for the purpose of waging this battle. And it is unfortunate. What are the democratic credentials of Wike? Where was he when we fought against June 12? Where was he when we fought against military dictatorship? Wike is a major beneficiary of the crooked politics of the PDP. What elections has he ever gone through in River State that has been free and fair since 1999? All the elections in River State have been manipulated, and that is why he is in power. What kind of local government elections has he himself conducted? So a situation where they are now saying, oh, we want to go to court to stop for. Imagine if it was he that somebody went to court to stop him from conducting election. Would he have accepted it? So we have tolerated this wicked nuisance enough. And it's high time Mr. President calls himself to order and calls Wike to order. Because the power Wike is exercising is the power of Mr.
Hitched up. You were in the process of explaining a few things concerning the situation.
Yes. I am saying that 2027 election, only God will decide. And Mr. President does not have to destroy River State, believing that Wike is the only person who will make it possible for him to become president. He can go ahead and cultivate Fubara. What is wrong in him cultivating Fubara? The truth is that the scenario that is playing up today has even happened in Lagos when Mr. President was governor. I was the member of Action Congress with Mr. President when he made Fashola the governor of Lagos State. At a point, Mr. President was quarreling with Fashola. He wanted Fashola removed. It took the intervention of Chief Bisi Akonde to call him to order. He would have removed Fashola. We had to move in. I was one of those who were sent to go to Bodilon Street. We met with Mr. President at that time, who was an ex-governor, and also met with Fashola, because we were watching how that would have affected our party Action Congress in Lagos State at that time. Tinubu, did you destroy Lagos State when you were angry with Fashola under AC? He didn't. Even when he met Ambode, the governor, and was quarreling with Ambode midway, Tinubu, did you destroy Lagos State? Did you not wait for the end of his tenure to remove him? So Wike should go and focus on his job as FCT minister and allow Rivers State to breathe. Let Fubra focus and do the job. Mr. President, as far as I am concerned, Wike is not the person waging the battles in Rivers State. You, Mr. President, you are the one waging the battle in Rivers State through Wike as your surrogate. And it is not fair. We are taking too many things for granted. Let us not push Nigeria further into precipice. The economy is bad. If we have a situation where some of these boys lose their head and start blowing up oil pipelines, the economy will be far worse off. We don't want to go into that era. Let nobody take it for granted. Some of the junior militants have grown and learned and are willing to wield power.
All right, so let's look at these. I mean, you talked about the judiciary earlier on in the FCT as being a weak judiciary, but we also saw this morning that the CJ and Kekereko has, summoned the judges over conflicting court judgments, set up, an inquiry panel, and is expecting some results and reports from that. Do you trust these processes that have been, done?
Until I see the outcome, I have no reason to trust Kekereko, who was the presiding judge that gave the judgment in the removal of Emeke Ihondiaha and the declaration of Hope Uzodinma, who came forth as the governor in Imo State. Kekereko has a lot to do to show that she is a person of integrity. She has a lot of work to do in the case of Rivers State, having been invited by Wike to the commissioning of the housing project for judges, which she knows she shouldn't have attended. It is high time she saves Federal High Court Abuja Division from becoming Federal High Court Wike Division. In fact, Wike is now moving to turning the Federal High Court as a whole to Federal High Court of Wike. And the job she has to do, first step, is to ensure that all the cases concerning Rivers State must all be taken out of FC Abuja. Taken out of Wike Division and moved over to Port Harcourt, which is the primary division where such cases should be had. As long as Wike remains as Minister of FCT, everything is wrong, being an interested party for anybody to continue to allow for any cases involving Rivers State in the Federal High Court to be had in Abuja/Wike Division. And I think this is a great opportunity for the CJN to begin to cleanse Rivers State, to begin to cleanse the judiciary, because the judiciary is being terribly trampled upon. I'm a lawyer of 31 years standing. The judiciary has no reputation left in Nigeria. As of today, the judiciary has less integrity than prostitutes. And she has a big job at hand. She must pick up the courage. And even the housing project for judges must be taken away from FCT and Wike and handed over to the Judicial Service Commission in the interest of the independence of the judiciary. The judiciary should build their houses by themselves. Wike and the executive have no business building houses for the judiciary. Give them all their funds. If they have housing needs, they should go and build it. You cannot give the executive the opportunity to claim, I am building you a house, and expect the judiciary to be independent. That housing project must be stopped immediately in the interest of the independence of judiciary and handed over to the judiciary to build by themselves and for themselves. We should no longer condone this meddlesomeness of the executive in the judicial arm of government. When Wike was governor of Rivers State, he built so many quarters of the Rivers State judiciary, and he used this as a means to control them. Let us remind ourselves, we all have but a short time to stay in power, after which we will move. If you create the dangerous dimensions that is happening today and another person inherits it, don't expect that you get fairness, because you must move on at the expiration of your
There was a
Sorry,
question.
wouldn't it be too harsh to equate the judiciary to the integrity of prostitutes?
Oh yeah, but it's far worse than that. What is left of the judiciary? Everything is gone. Every lawyer is just managing to go to court. These days, you will go to court and argue your case, and when they are giving the judgment, you can't even relate it with your cases that you argued before the judges. I know that there are some good judges, and there are many judges, but those good judges are no longer given opportunity of presiding over such important matters as this, that will showcase the independence of the judiciary. There is everything wrong with our judiciary, and everybody knows it. All the judges know it. All the senior advocates know it. And to even imagine that Wike, who is a lawyer, and who, by the way, is a life bencher of the body of benchers, is the one playing this kind of role in the destruction of the judiciary, is unfortunate. And his wife is a judge. And you are trampling upon the integrity of the judiciary to say that I am not Uche Onyeagocha. If it is Wike and myself, if Wike sues me challenging that I am not Uche Onyeagocha, that the name I'm answering is not genuine, he will win me, because the judiciary is far gone.
Okay, well, then let's get back to the people of Rivers State in all this, because they are the ones that seem to bear the brunt. What do you think all sides to this argument need to do to at least bring some succor to the people of Rivers State, who appear to be the people bearing the brunt of all this?
The people of Rivers State must continue to speak out strongly. The people of Rivers State must continue to resist this attempt by Nyesom Wike to have a third term. I am one of those who fought against Obasanjo's third term ambition. And at the time I did it, my brother-in-law was his transport minister. I didn't mind the fact that my brother-in-law was the transport minister for Obasanjo when I fought against that Obasanjo's ambition. I am telling those who are close to Wike, it is time Wike is called to order, and they should resist this attempt to continue to manipulate Rivers State by every means necessary. And this should be the opportunity to take Rivers State away from dictatorship and electoral manipulation, and grant them the basic freedom of voting in the people they want, and ensuring that nobody imposes a governor on them. They have suffered for too long. It has always been war in Rivers State. If it is not war with Amechi, it is war with Wike, and a state cannot continue. Rivers State is a very strategic state, and a lot of what happens in Rivers State impacts on Bayelsa and also extends to Delta State, because Ijaw people are watching. Ijaw people are in Delta State, they are in Bayelsa State, and they are watching to see how Mr. President is handling this matter, and they are not particularly happy. And Mr. President should not continue to take them for granted. They have been speaking in very many ways to see whether Mr. President should understand them. I think it's high time Mr. President calls Wike to order, tell him to mind his business, he and his boys. Because what more do they want done? They now want the judiciary to be used to legitimize or enforce what they could not achieve. You have imposed, you have put your man as the governor. The man has decided to liberate himself and move on. You too, move on. Just like most other people who impose people. And by the way, there is a Supreme Court judgment to the effect that once people declare and lose their seats, even if it's only 3 members that are left in the House of Assembly, that becomes the House of Assembly of that state. And this is not the first time some governor is working with minority members of the House of Assembly. Didn't Gada do it in Ogun State? Despite the protestation of people like Wale Soyinka, who led protests to Ogun State, did it work? Did it change? So I am saying it is high time Mr. President allows Rivers State to breathe. It is high time we allow the judiciary to regain their integrity, their reputation, which has been trampled upon, as a result of this crisis in River State. And more importantly, let me even tell those who don't understand how God works. Akpabio imposed the governor in Akwa Ibom before leaving at the end of his tenure. I think his name was Omana. Omana didn't agree with him. Omana decided to move on. Akpabio battled as much as he could, and he moved on. It was that battle between Omana and Akpabio that pushed Akpabio to APC. Today Akpabio is Senate President. P2B put Obiano as governor of Anambra under Abga with Victor. Today, neither Victor nor P2B is in Abga. So what is new about what is happening in River State? Why can't we rest? People should call it a wicked order. Stop. Go and be minister in FCT and mind your business. Or if you don't want to be minister and mind your business in Abuja, Mr. President, relieve him of that position. Let him go to Port Harcourt and fight, and let us see how far he will go. He will be totally bruised. In fact, he will go on exile. If he goes back to Port Harcourt without being a minister, he will be gone. It will be all over for him.
Doesn't that say a lot for what we need to do as politicians and indeed electorate as we count down to 2027? Because it seems as if our politics seems to be upside down in more ways than one.
Upside down is an understatement. Let us face it. All the local government elections organized in the 30 states of the Federation are anything but an election. The ones conducted in APC states are terribly dubious, equally as dubious as the one conducted in PDP states and in other ABGA or Labour Party or NNPP states. All of them are dubious. What one expects is that Mr. President should take advantage of what is going on in the local government elections and be a statesman like President Yaradua, who came on television and said to Nigerians, the election that brought me into power was not the best of the elections. Let's start cleaning the process. The reason why Tinubu is keeping quiet about all these dubious elections going on in the name of local government elections is because he's planning to have a worse one than what we are having in the local government elections across the states in the election of 2027. If he thinks he's going to organize a proper election, he can call the governors in-house and say, gentlemen, what we're having is a shame, it's a disgrace. Let us go inside. What is the attitude of Mr. President to electoral reform? Time is running out. We will soon have another election. If he's keeping silent about all these dubious elections across the states, it is because he wants to conduct a worse election than what is happening presently in 2027. And it is unfortunate. It speaks volumes. Let us face it. Nobody respects Nigeria's electoral system anymore. And we should rise up. And people are angry. People are hungry. What is lacking in Nigeria today is a proper leadership that will galvanize the anger and the pain of the people and lead it as an onslaught against the political leadership of this country. We have failed in every ramification. Let us face it.
So I hear two things mostly, because I hear you say, the CJN should do the right thing and move the court cases to River State, where they originally are supposed to be taken. Again, the governor is in the state. So is it about the location or the people who make up the courts? Because at the end of the day, there is also this argument that because the judiciary is being, allegedly bought by politicians should let the judiciary do their jobs.
I agree with you. But at this stage, first, it is about location. Take the cases away from Federal High Court Wike Division, which is the same as Abuja Division. Move it to River State. If you do not trust the integrity of the judges in the Federal High Court in River State, move the judges away. They cannot be transferred, and bring a set of transparent judges to go and preside. There are 4 courts of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. No, 5. Why should you be sending the cases in Abuja when there are 5 courts of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt? Get a bunch of very transparent judges who of integrity, move them to the Port Harcourt Division. Transfer all the matters from the Wike Division in Abuja and move them to Port Harcourt so that they can now go there and hear them. You cannot continue to allow this and expect people to respect the judiciary. By now, the judges should be ashamed of the kind of orders and judgments that are coming out of the courts. It should be embarrassing to most of them. And that is why I'm saying that the step which we are reading in the media that the CJS is about to take should be holistic. Every other case that is being had in Abuja, stop. Move these cases to Port Harcourt. If you are worried about the governor and his capacity to also interfere, get the best of the judges, 5 best Federal High Court judges. And I believe that we have 5 sound judges in the Federal High Court who are people of integrity. Move them to Port Harcourt Judicial Division, let them go and hear the cases so that we now see what is the truth in this matter. All this manipulation of the judiciary has gone out of hands, and it can lead us into political turmoil. And the earlier we address this, the better. And I am saying this because I know that I have been a member of a party with Mr. President. I know how he resisted Obasanjo when Obasanjo wanted to meddle in the issue of the local government autonomy in Lagos State.
This development.
Mr. President should know that even seizing of the fund will not make a governor to surrender, because River State can run without local government allocation. River State is a rich state, so if you seize the local government allocation, they will be waiting for him. The man will focus and use his state fund to continue run his local government till when he is able to win his case, maybe at the Court of Appeal or at the Supreme Court. But we shouldn't allow this battle to go this far.
Okay,
and Mr. President needs to intervene to stop a degeneration into